Hi, this is Coach RJ from Lean Berets. Here's my what, why, how video on the Meel stick. First of all, what is a Meel club? A Persian Meel club is sitting here on the table, and it's a club from the Middle East. It has a long history, thousands of years old. Go back to Persian wrestlers and warrior training. Now, we use Meel clubs today for strengthening shoulders and increasing mobility and brain fitness and things of that nature that I've explained in some of the other videos. But why do I use a Meel stick? Well, when I got into training with the clubs, I recognized that they were too big, too heavy for people to use, but that the patterns that they used were so wonderful. So I started thinking about how to get more people involved, and I started experimenting with basically stick training. But the lighter sticks didn't work very well. They didn't provide the same type of feeling up in the shoulder, and I wanted people to have a little more load. So for about a year I played around with different diameters, types of hardwood versus softwood and lengths, and I came up with basically it's going to be about 2 feet 3 inches long, 1.5 inches diameter, made out of hickory hardwood. Is a great Meel stick. So I made this one myself, and this is one of the prototypes. But then I talked to Revolution Clubs in Texas, and they started making them commercially for me and everybody else that wants to train with the stick. So this is one you can buy from them online. It's made out of nice hickory hardwood, 2 feet 3 inches long, 1.5 inch diameter, and it's got a similar length to some of the Meel clubs. Now this one's a little bit longer than some of the other ones that I have, but I didn't want to get the stick too long because the women then were grounding it on the ground when they did 360 patterns, so it had to be a little bit shorter than some of the longer clubs. So that's what they are, and the why I use them. As I got into clubs, the women were not using them, and I started asking the women why they weren't using them, and some of the times it was because they were too heavy, and other times it was because they were too long, because they weren't as tall as the men. And so that's a little bit about why I use the sticks versus the clubs. But even for the men, I like to teach them the patterns with the stick. It's just a nice safety regression, and you just take so much of the threat out of it in the brain for people, because that looks a little ominous, right? And as an exercise safety person, I never want anyone to get hurt in any of my trainings whatsoever, whether younger, older, or athletic or not. How will it benefit you? Boy, if you had one tool that you could use your whole life, a Meel stick is an awesome tool to have. You can use it in the Indian club patterns as well. So I oftentimes use this like an Indian club, and sometimes I use it like a Persian Meel, which has different types of patterns, although they're similar. And sometimes I use it in other ways that don't really match up to Indian club patterns as we would see them historically or even currently. And so that's the what, why, how on a Meel stick, M-E-E-L, and this particular one you can get at Revolution Clubs. All I did is I added some grip grinder notches here myself at home, and put a couple of racing stripes on it because I think it makes it look a little bit cool, and then it also provides a visual for the end of the stick as it flies through the air. I hope this helps you understand the what, why, and how of the Meel stick compared to the Persian Meel club.